Hello, Mark Red Larson with Dreamcatcher Podcast. Thanks for joining us. Today, my guest is Laura Rubin. Welcome, Laura.
Thank you. I'm glad to be here.
So, how are you doing today, Laura?
I'm doing great. I'm enjoying the unseasonably warm weather in Colorado.
Yeah, us too. In Nebraska, it's just unbelievable for February. So, where are you located at?
So I live in Parker, about 45 minutes south of Denver. I've lived here in this house or this on this property for about 33 years.
Okay. So, what took you to Colorado?
So I came here in 1972 with my family.
Okay.
My dad worked for Mobil Oil and brought him
Oh
to
wow.
Colorado, and then he liked it so much. We were transferred like every 3 years, but he liked it so well. He
Oh
was
my
like, I don't want
gosh.
to leave Colorado, so he ended up finding a new job so he could stay. So I've been here since '72.
Excellent. Well, that's a good place to stay. That's for sure.
Yeah, love it.
So, what do you do in Colorado?
So I live on a 10-acre ranch and I partner with my horses and work with women to help them during what I call an identity disruption or an identity rupture.
Yeah.
So my women that I work with, so like a divorce or they've lost their job and their kids have left home, or maybe even a lot of women in midlife hit that time period and realize that the life that they're living is not theirs because they've
Yeah.
followed conditioning and others' rules, and they're wearing a mask and just kind of put on all the layers
Hmm.
of what expectations and conditioning. And so I think oftentimes women in midlife reach a point where they realize they're not living their own life, but they
Yeah.
don't know what that life actually looks like. And so those are the women that come to the ranch. I offer both private and group experiences. And we work with the
Okay.
horses because horses is energetic beings and we are energetic beings. So we connect. And the horses are able to mirror back to my women, like, what maybe they're
Yeah.
feeling, what's going on because of the energetic because they operate in the world through energy. As prey
Okay.
animals, everything that they notice in their world is what does it feel like to them? And if something
Okay.
doesn't feel congruent or something feels off, that's danger because if it's not, I mean, if they ignore those signals, then in the wild, they could become someone's lunch. Obviously, in
True.
domesticated situations, that isn't always the case, but
True. Yeah.
that is their innate way of dealing with the world. So we, as energetic beings, when we walk into the pasture with them,
Mhm.
they are reading our energy. And then my role is the conduit of helping those women see what's going on with the horses and then also feel what that is triggering in them. What is that bringing up for them? What are the emotions that's bringing up for them? What do
Interesting.
they feel like they need to release? What are the aha moments that they're
Mhm.
having later take and reflect on and go, "Oh, I don't like my life in this way, but I like my life in that way." So,
Okay.
it's a way because for me, the important thing is when we're in that messy middle
Mhm.
piece,
Right.
we've had that identity that no longer fits for us, but we don't know what's next. That messy middle piece feels very uncomfortable and very unsettling. And
Yeah.
as a result, we wanna get out of it as fast as
Oh, yes.
possible.
Yes.
It's really where we need to stay because then you can uncover all the layers and all the crap that we're carrying around to really get to that internal clarity so that when we get ready to make a decision about what's next, we really know our values. We really know what rules we want to live by.
Okay.
We are able to say a very steady and clear yes and a very solid no with no questions. We're very solid in what our yes and our no's are. And so
Ex
from that place, you can move. I never said I don't believe in reinventing ourselves. What we're doing is
Mhm.
coming back to ourselves. It's all the things, it's who we were before we started layering on all that
Yes.
stuff and
Yes.
following everybody else's rules.
Yes.
Yeah.
So how long have you been doing this?
So the actual horse work I've been doing for probably about I've been coaching for 8 years. I brought
Okay.
horses into the mix 3 years after I started,
Oh,
which
really?
I
Okay.
yeah,
Okay.
randomly came across. So, I've been in and out of corporate my whole life, in my
Okay.
work life, was a serial entrepreneur, lost my job at 45,
Oh,
and
wow.
realized that I had 45 years ahead of me, and I didn't wanna live them the same. Meaning, I had a great life. I had a good
Right.
job,
Yep.
a nice car, nice house, but I
Mhm.
was not I wasn't living in joy. It was like I was doing it because I was good at it, not because it lit me up. And I was
I
like,
hear
"Do
you.
I really wanna live that same way for the
Mhm.
rest of my life?" And I'm like, "No, I think I'd rather live in joy and bliss and do something that
Amen.
really lights me up." So that
Yes.
was the journey, and, thankfully, I was blessed that I did not financially have to find something right away, so
Very
it
good.
gave me a little bit of breathing room. However, I did jump out of that messy middle a little bit too soon because I was, loved to strength train at the time, was working out very
Okay.
regularly, and I had a personal trainer, and he said, "You'd be really good at it." And I was like,
Mhm.
"Okay, this is completely different than what I was doing because I was working in an
Okay, yeah.
office, managing, doing books." And so I decided that I would try it, and I did it. I did it for about 5 years, and I was like, "Oh," after 5 years, I got that same niggle, like, "This isn't it.
Yeah, that
This isn't
yep,
right." So I
yep.
had jumped from one to the other because I really hadn't stopped long enough to figure out what is it that Laura wants. And
Yeah.
I was like, "Oh, this sounds good. I like to do this."
Yeah, yeah.
But what I ended up not liking was that there are so many workout programs that you can do.
That is
It's
true.
like it was getting boring. I'm like, "Oh my
Yeah.
gosh, this is boring me." But so I finally sat down and took an inventory of what did I really like about what did
Right.
I really like about my last jobs, but really more importantly, what did I really like about personal training? And
Mhm.
what
Mhm.
I realized very quickly was for 45 minutes, I got to talk with my clients. I got to have meaningful conversations about their lives.
Right.
And I hope that I my hope was that not only did they leave stronger, but also felt better about their life because we had a
Yes.
good conversation.
Yes.
So I was like, "I want more of that. That's what
Mhm.
I want more of."
Understand that.
So I became a life coach. I primarily focused on women in midlife because I had gone through the journey or was going through the journey, and I felt like I could really speak to that because I felt like there were a lot of women that including myself, not sharing the part about where their life really didn't feel good to them because
Mhm. Yep.
anyone that came along and looked at my life would say, "Wow, you have it going on. You've got a
Mhm.
great life." But
Yep.
I didn't feel it. I mean, and
Yeah.
so I sure as heck didn't want to tell somebody, "I'm not really happy with my life," because I felt like I should be happy with my life. I should be really
Yeah.
grateful
I
for the
understand
life
that
that I
feeling, yeah.
had. Yeah, so I decided that I wanted to help women that felt the same way, to
Okay.
help them to know, to give them permission to not like their life, even though it looked really good on paper. Um, and so I did that for 3 years, and along the way, I randomly came across an article in a, magazine that was about a woman in Colorado
Okay.
that did retreats with her horses, and
Okay.
blew my mind. I was like,
Yeah.
"What?" 'Cause
Yeah.
I've been a horse crazy kid since 10. I've had
Uh-huh.
horses in my life since I was 14.
Okay.
The horses at this point were I show at a national level, so that
Oh,
was what I
wow.
was doing with
Excellent.
them.
Yeah.
And so to realize and I have a real passion for them, and to realize that I could marry my passion for helping women
Yeah.
and my passion for horses together. This is
Yep.
wild. I had no idea, none
Yes.
whatsoever.
Yes.
So, I immediately signed up for a retreat that she was having in August here in Colorado. I went and
Okay.
experienced it. And as a 25-year horsewoman at the time that had
Mhm.
25 years worth of horsemanship, like I could lead, load, clip, bathe, all of those
You
things felt super comfortable
right.
around working with horses. I walked into that arena, so to speak,
Right. Sure.
metaphorically.
Yes.
Yeah. And watched the horses operate and connect with humans in a completely different way with the women that were up
Wow.
there in a coaching capacity, and it really, really opened my eyes to what was possible, and so I knew that that was the path that I wanted to learn more about that, and so that was the next piece, was going on a journey. The, there were many things about the experience that I had with the woman that I loved, but there were a few things it's like, I don't think I wanna do it that way. Nothing wrong with how she was doing it, but
Mhm.
it didn't feel right for me.
For what?
And to be honest, it was probably the first time. Maybe well, the second time, because the first time I listened to myself was when I realized I liked working with people and I loved having meaningful conversations, so it was like, what does
Mhm.
that path look like? And
Right.
then this was the second time where I was like, I wanna do the horse thing, but I don't wanna do it this way. What way do I wanna do it? And I was willing
Right.
to wait. I was willing to sit in that because I'm a go-getter. I'm gonna go
Mhm.
figure this out, and I'm gonna
Right.
go make
Right.
it
Yep.
happen, and it was like, and I did the research, don't get me wrong. I kinda started down the path of doing the research, but I wasn't finding what I was really resonating with, and I just had finally told myself, "I'm not gonna do something that doesn't resonate. I'm gonna wait." And
Smart.
waiting is
Yes.
so hard. I mean,
I
so hard
bet.
because it's like, "I'm ready. Let's
Yes.
go. I've
Yes.
made the decision."
Yep.
And so I did wait, and again, randomly was doing research on the internet, found a lot of people in the US, found a lot of people in Colorado that were doing the work, but it just
Okay.
didn't I n no reson that did not resonate. Randomly found a woman in, British Columbia, Canada,
Okay.
found her website, read it, and I'm like, "This is how I wanted to
That's
do the
the
work." And so that
uh-huh.
was the gal that I worked with, and I worked with her for about 3 years, and I've
Oh,
been
wow.
doing
Oh,
the
wow.
work for about 6 now, I think.
Okay.
And
Okay. So
loving it, absolutely loving it, and for me, the important piece of the work was giving the horses agency and autonomy, meaning the retreat that I had experienced and the way that the woman did the work is the work was done in a round pen, which is just what you think, it's a round pen.
uh-huh.
The facilitator and the client were on the outside of the pen and the horse was on the inside of the pen. Nothing wrong with that, but they chose the horse. The horse did not have agency over or autonomy whether they participated or not.
Okay.
So, and for me, my and the philosophy that I was trained in that I totally believe in is that each horse has a different medicine, has which is like a different personality.
Sure. That makes
So they come to the table with different ways of teaching a lesson and a different
yeah.
lesson to teach because of the medicine and the personality of who they
Ex
are.
exactly. Yeah.
So for example, I my lead mare is the queen. She has
Okay.
quite strength about her. So she really shows women how to be powerful, but they don't have to be big. They don't have to scream, they don't have to yell, they don't have
Okay.
to
Okay.
be
Yeah.
heard. They just have to really stand in their beliefs, their convictions, and their power, and she demonstrates that for women. I have another gelding who is all he's a boundary pusher. So
Oh, I see. Okay.
if you're a people pleaser or you're afraid to set boundaries, he's all over you because he's gonna teach you he's either gonna be in your face or you're gonna learn how to set that boundary so he respects you and you have a respectful interaction. He
Mhm.
also
Okay.
teaches play.
I
So
bet.
by
Yes.
giving the horses agency and autonomy, which is what this looks like is and for the work that I did, the woman that I worked with had 80 acres. She had 28
Okay.
horses in her herd, and we walked out to the herd.
Oh,
And
really?
those
Okay.
horses, we were given the opportunity to show up, to come in, to stand, different energy comes to, the different horses would come to different
Right.
women. We
Right.
also You also get to watch the herd interact, which has so many
Interesting.
lessons for us to how to operate in community and how to, how
Sure.
leadership
Yes.
works and
Yes.
all of that when you really start to watch what's happening in a herd of horses. So I have 4 at the ranch, and
Okay.
I have just a really big paddock that I put them in, and a pasture area in the summer that we can use as well. But it's all about, who's gonna show up? What
Mhm.
energy is needed at what time? And it's really
Mhm.
fascinating to watch what horse shows up for what woman, and sometimes I can predict it, and sometimes it's completely like, "Wow,
Interesting.
never
Very
expected that." And
uh-huh.
then sometimes it's like, what yeah, I always have to go in with very loose expectations, like, I know these horses, so I know their energy and I know how they
Sure.
show up, but because they're allowed to do what they need to do, sometimes they surprise the heck out of me, and I'm like, "Wow, never expected that," and I learned
Uh-huh.
something as well. So it's
Uh-huh.
really fun, and it's really fun to share the work, and it really is about creating a what I call a safe container for women to show up with there's no judgment, there's no baggage, there's no
Right. Right.
expectations or conditioning. So you get to drop all of that and really be you. And I know, I
I
mean,
see.
that's talked about a lot, but it's just so to have that connection and that safety and to find that clarity is just I can talk about it, but until you experience it, you just don't know what
Yeah.
it's like.
I bet. Yeah, the
Yeah.
mask kinda comes off,
Mhm.
and we all have, especially to society, we have our masks on, that's for sure. So,
You bet.
I mean, and I can imagine your horses. I've been around
Yeah.
horses enough. I like horses. Not as much as my sister, but I do like horses. I love the personalities because they all
Mhm.
have different
They do.
and, so how do women find you to work with you?
So all of my work right now is in person at the ranch. I am working
Okay.
on some virtual offers, but I meet people in all situations.
Okay.
I do the standard networking, but I also do fun things for myself. Like
Okay.
just yesterday, I went to a silent disco, which if you've
Oh,
ever
that's
never been
interesting.
to one, try it out. It's like, so this woman, she actually is coming to one of my events to do one.
Okay.
It's going to be a blast, but you basically wear headphones. She curates a playlist based on the theme of whatever's going on, and you
Sure.
dance and you move your body. But
Wow.
it's silent because, everybody's got their headphones
Yeah,
on.
that's
And
not an
and
interesting idea.
again, a super safe space to express yourself because you're in a group of strangers, so you don't really
Sure.
know anyone.
Right, right.
And I mean, and there's no expectation. You could stand in place, you could sit down, or you could, so it's really, and this is what I encourage people to go try things that you've never tried
Amen.
before. Put
Yes.
yourself in situations where you get to meet people. Like yesterday, I met 4 or 5 women that we were talking about, what the silent disco was like, and then I just expressed that, the gal who was running it was gonna come out to the ranch, like, "Oh, that'd be so cool." So I
Uh-huh.
meet a lot of my people in unusual situations.
Very
I
nice.
also am going to start doing some virtual work and some virtual workshops for
Okay.
people, and, my experiences right now are 1 and 2 days, so if someone wanted to travel and do a 2-day private or a 2-day group, there are
Okay.
places to stay around the ranch, and so, yeah, there is that opportunity as well. So,
Okay. I was
but
just
for me, I think the world is really craving connection and
Oh,
in
yes.
person, in real
Yes.
life connection, and that is what I offer, and I really absolutely just love it. I love bringing women together in circle, and it's just amazing to see the connections that can be built when we create an environment that just promotes that.
Yes, and I can tell that you love doing it. Your
Yeah.
vibe is excellent, and I do definitely agree. We lack connection so much. I mean,
Mhm.
I think with all our technology and everything else, we're closer, but we're way further apart.
Yes.
So
Yes. I mean, technology is great. Don't get me
it
wrong. Look
is.
at us.
Yep.
You're in
Yep.
Nebraska. I'm in Colorado.
Yep.
We're able to have
Yeah.
a
It is.
great conversation. That's
Yes.
wonderful. But there also, I mean, obviously is a place for actually getting out of our houses, our homes, and meeting people
Yes.
in real life, whatever that looks like. And I
Yes.
think that, part of our growth and part of getting to know ourselves is putting ourselves in situations that stretch us just a
I
little bit.
100% agree. Yes.
Yeah, because, If I stayed the same as who I was at 20, I would have missed out on so much, and that's
Yes.
that's the other thing, who I was at 20, 30, 40, 50, and now in my 60s, I'm completely different,
Well,
and
me
so
too.
I want to embrace that person, and I wanna get to know that Laura.
Yes.
That means my values have changed, and we were talking about women that don't know what their next steps are.
True.
A lot of times we don't know what our values are. We don't know the rules that we've been following since we were 20. Do they still apply today?
Yeah.
Maybe not. And
No.
we need to slow down and stop long enough to examine
Yes.
what are the
Yes.
expectations that we're living under?
Exactly.
Are they true for us? And maybe
Yeah.
they were true for us when we were 30, but they're not true for us now,
Yep.
it's okay to let those go and
Yes.
determine what's true for us now. And I think that's the important thing is I think so many times we rush from decision to decision to decision because
Oh, yes.
we are movers and shakers and stopping and slowing down and giving ourselves spaciousness. I mean, the world just looks at that like, "You're lazy. What are you
It
doing? Why are
does.
you doing that?"
And
We don't look at that as an important piece of
mhm.
making that next decision for us. And
Yes.
so I really am a huge proponent of, again, sitting in that messy middle where it's uncomfortable and letting yourself determine what are my values now? What are my yeses and nos? Who do I want to follow? Who do I want
Very
in my
important.
life? Who do I not want in my life? What do I need? What clutter do I need to clear? It all because once
Yes.
you get that internal clarity,
Mhm.
now you show up in any situation shoulders back, head held high. You believe in yourself, you trust in
And then yes.
yourself, you
Yes.
stop listening to the noise around you. The other
Yeah.
thing is you don't fear change because you co author it, because you're willing to look at
Yes.
where you're at and what it's
Yes.
doing for you. So now you co author change because you're like in it and it's not,
Yeah.
life is not happening to you. So,
Yeah.
mm,
Having more for you. Yes.
yes,
No, yeah.
exactly.
And it
Exactly.
is. And I see so many people that are living it, the life's happening to them.
Yes.
And
And they've chosen that. So that's the thing
yeah.
also to remember. I think, we talk about expectations and roles and rules and identities. And while some of that has been modeled for us, put upon us, at some point, we have also made the choice to continue in it.
We have.
Maybe something has come along and it's like, oh, I really need to not do it this way anymore. But not doing it puts you in an unknown. So you'd rather stay what they say, you'd
Hey,
rather stay in
what you know.
the familiar hell than
Yep.
the uncertain, the scary unknown. And so
Yes.
at some point also we need to take responsibility and accountability for the choices that we've
Me too.
made. You
Yes.
know, maybe it is because society has always done it this way
Mm.
and, this is what our parents modeled, but at some point we get to choose if we're gonna continue down that path. Is
Yes.
that what we're gonna continue to do?
Yes.
And is this the life that we wanna live?
Amen. And it
Yeah.
is your decision. You may not think you
Yes,
have that power, but you do. You
you
just got to
bet.
say, no, this is not going to be anymore. And, it will be the messy middle. That's for
Yeah,
sure.
yeah.
And,
And you
but
know
that,
what? For those people who believe that this is the way life is and they don't wanna change it or they can't change it, then they're not in a place it's not their time yet. And you know what? They
true.
may go their entire life and not change, and that is their choice as well.
It is.
But, to think that life is happening to you, yes, it is, but we also have some accountability in that as well.
We do. Yes.
Okay.
And, or like with dreams, with the dream catcher here, people are like, I haven't got my dream now. Why start now? And
Mhm.
it's like, why not start now? You're still
Right.
here. So,
Exactly. No one has said, "Well, your dream has to be since you were 20." Look at
yeah.
me. I did not now I would not say that, coaching with horses was my dream. I have
Mhm.
molded that life, but that didn't
Right.
start till 45. I was putzing along until
Mhm.
45, like falling in the hole and standing back up and,
Yep. Yep.
doing all those things. So I there's no time
No,
frame for any of this. You
there
get
is
to
not.
decide. You get
No,
to
and
decide.
it just surprises me in this day and age, we're still so much well, I still, especially in Nebraska, we're so conservative. It's like
Mhm.
still go to school, get a job, to do the
Yeah,
and retire. And I get that told all the time. It's like, "Why are you not getting ready to retire?" And it's
Right.
like, because I've never ever gone by that timeline.
Yeah.
And,
And
no, I'm still
it takes people like us to show people that there's a different way. To have
yes.
the
Yeah.
courage to at some point in your life, maybe not from the beginning, but at some point, to wanna do things differently for yourself.
Yes.
And then what we do is show other people that it doesn't have to be grow up, go to college, get a career, retire, and then sit on the front porch and rock in your rocking chair, which I think sounds horrendous.
So do
But
I. I just like my wife have said, it's like they're waiting to die.
yeah,
And it's
so and
just
some
like,
people are.
"Oh,
Mhm.
ugh,
Yeah. Yeah, not
I
my
don't get it,
not
but
you will not yeah, you will not find me doing that, and I hope
me
that
neither."
I am inspiring other women and passionate enough that other women will see that it does not have to be that way for them either.
Yes. Amen. I'm so glad you're doing that too. So
Yeah.
I gotta ask you, since Dreamcatcher podcast, when you were growing up, what
Mhm.
was the dream? What did you think you were gonna
You
grow up to be?
you know, I don't I just said, I really kind of fell into this. I don't
Uh-huh.
know that I ever my passion since I was 10 had was horses. I was this
Okay. Like my sister
weird
then.
yeah, weird kid at 10 years old that all of a sudden, boom, it was horses. So the horses have always been my passion. Did not realize and you know what? Here looking back,
Uh-huh.
I feel like because I had this unordinary love of horses because my family didn't know one thing about horses and bless
Oh, really?
them.
Okay.
They really let me, like they took me to summer camp that had horses and all of that. I mean, they really helped me blossom that love,
Okay.
even though they knew nothing about it. But looking back, I feel like that strong pull, and because it stayed with me my entire life, that was the passion. That
Yeah.
was
That
it
is.
has the gift that was given to me, the dream that was given to me was always gonna
Yes.
be horses. What that was gonna
Yes.
look like, necessarily at one
Yeah.
point, I thought maybe I wanted to be a vet, but I'm like, "No, don't wanna be a vet. Just wanna
Okay.
be with horses. I wanna
Yeah.
be with horses." So that always whatever involved horses, that's what I was doing. So that's why when all of a sudden at 45 or whenever that was, I realized I could marry the coaching with the horses. I'm like, "Oh,
Yeah. A
maybe
win-win.
that's maybe
Yeah.
that's why back at 10, when none of my friends knew anything about horses, I was like, "Mom, take me to the summer camp with horses. That's what I wanna do." Because
Mhm.
I was not exposed to them at all in any other
Really?
way.
Okay.
But at
Wow.
that point, then it was every Breyer model, every horse book, Black Beauty, all the
Yes.
Marguerite
Yeah, everything. Y
Henry, the Black Stallion books, everything with horses. I
Uh-huh.
grew up, our house growing up faced a park, and I
Okay.
vividly remember someone riding their horse through the park and
Ah.
stopping at the playground. I don't know, for whatever reason. And I
Uh-huh.
ran out of the house, went down to this girl. I think she was probably in her teens and
Okay.
asked, "Can I pet your horse?" I'm sure she thought I
Mhm.
was crazy, but I'm like, "I want to pet this horse." I also made friends with a gal in it was either at the end, like 6th grade or 7th grade, because
Okay.
she had a pony. She had a
Ah.
pony, and it was living with her grandparents in Evergreen, so I wanted to be her friend. So because we would go up on the weekends and play with the pony. I mean, wild stuff
Uh-huh.
like that. That is how, horse crazy. I was truly the horse crazy child. And it's like, why? Well, this is why. This is why.
Yeah.
Now I know why. But back then it was just like horses, horses, horses. I just love horses. I'm sure my parents thought I was crazy, like I said, but
Nice.
they
It was just
indulged
your
me, which
calling.
was lovely.
No, it was
Yeah.
your calling.
Yeah.
So, I know we talked earlier and you said you do speaking. Do you speak about this on stage then?
I do. I specifically speak on stage about I tell my story of losing my job. I tell my story of checking off all the boxes, following all the
Okay.
rules because I thought
Okay.
that's what success was going to be,
Right.
and then losing my job and realizing that wasn't. And then talking about the messy middle, talking about how the horses brought me back,
Okay. Okay.
centered me again. And then yeah, so I talk about all of that.
Okay.
The speech is all about being unapologetically you, finding your
Yes.
from within,
Yes.
because that's what it's about.
It
So,
is, 100%. So
mhm.
so where would you like to be with this in, like, 5 years? Do you have a
I
future
would
looks like?
love in 5 years, I would love to expand my offerings to longer. So right now
Okay.
they're 1 and 2 days. I'd love to do 3 and 4-day retreats at the ranch. I would also love to do a retreat abroad in Italy.
Ooh,
And,
oh, yeah.
whether
East
that
side.
includes horses or not, there are facilities with horses, and I can do the work can be done whether I know the horses or not, because the connection and the energy is, I would definitely, if I did it abroad, I would find a place that I could, collaborate with, get to know the horses,
True.
but I
Yeah,
don't need to
yeah.
know them at the level that I know my own, because the connection is the same. The energy, the way the body language of the horse, how it reacts, all the same, all the same. And
Yeah.
again, my role is to ask questions and help these women get out of their heads and start really reflecting on what they're feeling, what they're noticing, trusting their own intuition, and
Yes.
kind of quieting the noises and the voices around them that don't know them.
Excellent. So
Yeah.
would you ever work with men? Or is that
I
ever
have been asked that. Yes, I would. It is
okay,
not a market that I have necessarily promoted to, so I am speaking to women, and I
okay.
speak to women because I believe, that's the journey that I went through, and I
Sure.
feel
Makes
like the journeys that we go through are meant for us to learn lessons, and also then to share the gifts that we learned from those lessons. So
okay.
as a woman, and I think that I also think that the messy middle for a man and midlife for a man to some degree is different, because there are different expectations on
Yep.
you guys, different conditioning, and honestly, I would love to see a man come alongside you as a facilitator with the horses. I'm not saying I
Okay.
wouldn't do it, and
Okay.
certainly can do the work, but I really am a huge proponent. I wish there were more, and there are men doing this work, but
Are
there
there
there are
okay.
more, yeah, but
Okay.
there are more women than men. But I just and I think in general, I think there's such a need for men, life coaches or whatever you mentors, guide, because I think that you guys go through different things than we do. And
Yeah,
and
I think
things
that's
that
true too.
we don't necessarily, I don't know, that I think a man can speak to better. A man that's been through it and done the work can speak to it better
Exactly.
than I can.
Makes
Again,
sense.
because it's not necessarily, I mean, it is leadership, it's self-leadership, but it's not like leading a team, it's not like running a business, it's not, I think that I think there's something to be said for a man mentoring and guiding men.
No, I would agree with that too. So do you have a favorite breed of horse that
Oh,
you
my favorite breed is Arabians and half Arabians. That is what I have been
okay.
in my
Okay.
entire life. So right
Okay.
now in the pasture, I have 1 purebred and 3 half Arabs, and then the horse that I show is a half Arab.
Wow,
So my
nice.
half Arabs are I have 2 at home that are half Arabs, half Frisians, and then I
Okay.
have 1 at home, Gracie, my 26-year-old, she's my oldest mama of the bunch. She is a half Arab Dutch warm blood, and she looks like an Arab, you would never know.
Okay,
So for
really?
horse
Okay.
people or people that aren't horse people, Dutch warm bloods are huge. If you ever watch the hunter jumpers in the Olympics, lots of
Mhm.
times, or the dressage horses, those horses are giant.
Right.
They are Dutch warm bloods. So they
Did not
cross
know
one of
that.
those
Okay.
very large horses with an Arab, but she's tiny. She's very petite and very
Is
Arabian-like, so and very
okay.
sweet. She's got a big heart.
So where do you find your horses at?
So, my 4 here are all retired show horses. 2 of
Okay.
them are my own retired show horses. I retired one because of ankle issues.
Mm.
She has, arthritis in her ankles, so couldn't
Oh,
show anymore.
ouch.
And then my second one that I retired really didn't like to show. He's like,
Okay.
"I'll do this, but I don't like it. I'd rather do
Right.
something else." And he really
Yeah.
does like doing the work. That's much more fun for him. He likes connecting with all the women and the people that come. That's his deal. He doesn't wanna be put in a stall and asked to do something. He's like, "I wanna do my own thing." So, I get
Well,
that.
that
And
I get
then
it.
my 26-year-old, I got her 3 years ago from a family that had owned mom had owned a horse, this was daughter's horse. mom's horse had passed and daughter lost interest. So they were
Hmm.
looking to find a home for her.
Okay. Okay, that was good
And
then.
then the 4th horse that I have, was given to me by a gal that I know from the horse showing world. He was a former show horse as well.
Okay.
He has what they call wobblers. Great Danes get it as well. It's basically where the vertebrae squeeze together, pinch the nerves, and then they
Oh.
wobble. They're not, they wobble when they walk. So imagine riding a
Oh,
1,000-pound animal and it's not steady on its feet. So not safe to
wow.
ride. That family actually did the surgery. There is surgery. Now they
Oh,
don't
okay. Okay.
and gave the horse a year off and then rehabbed him really slowly and
Really?
took him
Okay.
to a really local fun kind of show, and he just kind of displayed those symptoms. Not as bad, but they were
Okay.
like, "No, I don't think we could show him." They loved him, so they came to me and said, "Hey, we know you do this work. We think
Yeah.
he'd be great for it.
Mhm.
Would you take him?" And I'm like, "Sure."
Right.
He is a fan favorite, I will tell you.
Oh,
He
excellent.
is yeah, he's the fan favorite for sure, and shows
Yeah.
up front and center a lot, so he was a great
I love
addition
it.
to the herd.
No, and I would think
So
that it sounds painful too with
yeah,
the
as long as you're not asking them to do anything because what they did, the surgery basically puts butterfly clips, along and
Okay. Right,
a
yeah.
horse's spine is on the bottom of their neck. You'd think it was on the top, but it's not. It's
Right.
actually in the
I
bottom.
did not know
And
that. Right.
so they put those butterfly clips that kind of look like this to
Right.
separate the spinal column to allow the nerve to come through, without being pinched. But there's only so
Wow.
much, that they can do. And I mean, at some point, those will deteriorate and he may show signs again. It may get worse.
Yeah.
And it's
Poor
not,
thing.
it really isn't, it doesn't appear to be painful because like a pinched nerve, it's like being numb though sometimes. It's like you don't
Yeah,
necessarily
true. That is
feel it.
true.
It's
Yeah.
like it just is pinching off that um the signal from the brain to the legs of how to walk,
Oh, I see. Oh,
one
gotcha now.
set
Okay.
one
That
step
makes
in front of
sense.
the other. And
Okay.
so, yeah, so I mean, those eventually may, deteriorate, not work anymore. And I mean, his quality of life is good and will until it
That's good.
remains, it stops being good, then and that could be a long time. These guys,
Yeah,
I
hopefully.
mean, Gracie's 26, Mary's 15, Bandit's 13 and Thor is 11. So,
Okay.
and my guys, I mean, once they're here and they hit that age, I don't sell them. So they'll be
Yeah.
here for
That's good.
life. They'll be and they can do the work for as long as
Yeah.
they live.
Yep.
So,
That
yeah.
is excellent.
Yeah.
Now, my sister would love to talk to you too. I
Cool.
just know
Connect us.
I will definitely do that because
All right.
she definitely that's her kids. I
Yeah.
mean, definitely. So can people find how do people find do you have a website
I
or
do. The best place to find me is wildawakewoman.com. I
okay.
am also on Instagram, Facebook, and LinkedIn. All of those links are on the homepage of my website. So
Okay.
go
Okay.
check me out at
Excellent.
wildawakewoman.com, and that will take you to all my socials, and you can find
Very,
more.
very good. So Laura, before we end the podcast, anything else you'd like to share with the audience?
I just absolutely loved our conversation.
Me too.
I love talking about possibilities and curiosity. And
Mhm.
anytime that I can sit in a room and just share the message that no matter what age you are, life is not over. It is
Yes.
what you make it,
Oh, yes.
and go
Mm.
out and make it something. It doesn't have to be big.
Yes.
It could be in your just for you, whatever that looks like. But go live your life on your terms. Don't live on
Yeah.
anybody else's terms. To figure out what that looks like.
Yeah. 100%. 2 thumbs
Mhm.
up. Yes. I
Yeah,
love that. That's excellent.
we are all worthy of living a life on
We
fire.
are. Yes.
Completely,
Yes, we are.
completely.
And well, I'm going to end on the podcast on that. So, Laura, thank you for joining us on the Dreamcatcher podcast. I look forward to keeping in touch with you.
Yeah,
I'm gonna tell my sister. Her name's
sure.
Kristen,
All right,
and
I'll
uh,
look for it.
she can talk horses a lot,
All
and she
right.
will love to see what you're doing, and
Beautiful.
that will be great. I can't wait to tell her that.
All
So
right. That's
but
awesome.
anyway, I will let you go, and thanks again, and we'll be talking later.
All right. Sounds good. You have a great day.
You too.